It's really hot in here because I turned up the AC. I turned up the air conditioning in here so that it wouldn't kick on, so it wouldn't make a noise. And I'm like burning up because the lights are around me. And hey, my name is Adilena Dina Azul. Thank you for clicking into this video to come meet me today. If you know me from a previous video, welcome back. Besides it being super hot in here, I'm very excited today because my aunt is flying in from California to come meet me. Okay, that's a big fat lie. She's not coming to meet me. She's actually coming because I think my grandma, but anyway, I haven't met her. Like, I have not met this aunt, and my mom has been the only like female in her family that I know of, so it's kind of crazy if there's gonna be another person that looks like my mom. To get into what you clicked into this video for, moving out at 18, I'm very excited to be here to talk to you all about it because I moved out when I was 18 with my boyfriend. We were supposed to make this video together. He was supposed to be like right here, but he had to go to work and we didn't make enough time to like do the video. Anyway, other things, let's just move on. To get into the real video now, I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about the important things of moving out and what you need to know as far as doing it, and then we'll move on to the more juicy questions. Juicy questions. Juicy questions. Jesus and I actually literally started planning to move out around January of 2017. That was last year. We knew we were going to be moving out around May or June. So that was like January, February, March, April, May, like 4 or 5 months in advance. I am the kind of person that likes to know everything and like how exactly it's going to happen and numbers and dates and everything like that. So I was going crazy with spreadsheets. I would like pull up Google spreadsheets and I would make, okay, at the time I had a steady job, like I was getting a steady income. Jesus had a job too, so in my spreadsheets I would calculate, okay, I'm making about this much, which means that if I'm making about this much weekly means I'm making about this much bi-weekly, and if I make blah, 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 and okay, I did that for myself and for Jesus's income to add up how much we were making a month. And from that, I was like, okay, so if we're going to be making this much a month, then we need to start calculating about how much we're going to be spending on like rent and utilities and spending money and all of that stuff. So it's kind of hard. I remember that whenever I was like trying to plan everything, I was getting a little frustrated because I just wanted to know exactly how much I was going to pay in utilities. But for example, whenever Jesus, we're living in a new location now, but when we moved out, we were actually living in Bentonville, if you're from here, and we were paying $575 in rent, just flat out. That's how much you had to take out of your pocket every month. And then we were living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and we had to pay, oh, so in Bentonville, all of your utilities are under the same bill. So we paid like electricity, water, like, what is it called? Sewage, all of that in one bill. And at the beginning, we moved out around May, at the end of May. We were paying like $100 with all utilities included. And then towards like December, January kind of months, we were paying about $150. So we were paying like $575 plus $150 is what it was mostly, from what I remember, for our utilities and all of that. Now you also have to remember that if you're living out by yourself, you're probably going to be having to like pay like Wi-Fi if you want internet where you're living. You're also going to be paying like your cell phones if you have that, if you have a car payment, if you have to pay your car insurance. Like there's other things that you have to make sure you don't forget, because you won't want to like sign a lease for a house that you think you can afford or an apartment that you think you can afford, and then like you have to start paying and you're like, well, I forgot I had to pay this. You know, just make sure you kind of have an idea of everything that you're going to be paying once you moved in. And yeah, one time I was talking to someone and she watched my videos and she told me that my videos were good, but that I needed to slow down. And I just was thinking about how I said all of that in like 5 minutes. So I think I need to slow down. Let me just talk like this. Can you understand me now? I'm kidding. Okay, I just get really excited and I talk really fast, and I think it's because I speak Spanish that everything just kind of, and I just say everything super fast. I'm sorry guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, but moving on. We already estimated like our income. We know about how much we're going to be making. We already estimated our expenses. We know about how much we're going to be spending. Also, if you are young like us and you have to pay for your own school, I was thankful and I was lucky enough to have my school paid for the semester. Like the first year that I was in through like grants, not grants, what are they called? Scholarships. but Jesus wasn't. So we had to pay his school, and if you're going to NWAC and you don't have any financial aid, it's about like $500 to $600 a month. That's like another rent expense, so just keep that in mind too. Also, on top of all of those basic utilities that you'll have to be paying for, make sure that you're also keeping in mind that you'll have to pay for your gas, you'll have to pay for your food, you have to buy your own groceries, guys. I remember whenever like we were already moved in and we had to go grocery shopping for ourselves, it was like the coolest thing, because at your parents, like, you basically just eat what your parents buy, you know? But you're the ones making the decision of what you're gonna bring home now. Like, what? Oh yeah, yes, and also don't forget spending money, because you will want to go like eat out here and there. You will want to buy like a cute shirt here and there, and if you were used to your parents buying all of that for you, like, unless you're super lucky and they're still doing that for you once you're moved out, then great for you, but most likely not. So any kind of money that you're going to be spending is going to be coming out of your own pocket. The next thing that I did want to share is that you can't forget that you're going to be moving into your own place that's not going to have any furniture in it. So actually, you can get apartments that come furnished. So if that's something that you want to pay for, go ahead. But if you don't get like furnished apartment, then you do have to buy, like, for example, if you are in a small place like the one that we got when we first moved out, you're gonna need like a couch, you're gonna need a set for your bedroom, like a bed, a dresser, nightstands, all of that stuff. The way that whenever we moved, oh my gosh, I definitely need to slow down. Whenever Jesus and I moved into the other apartment, we were so fortunate to have people that supported us while we were doing all of that stuff. So for example, I was allowed to take my bedroom set with me, like my dresser, my bed. I had a nightstand, but I didn't really want to bring that. And then we knew some very nice people that gave us a couch for our living room, so we didn't have to purchase that. Jesus's mom got us like a TV stand, so we didn't have to purchase that. The things that we bought were basically like all of the kitchen utensils. We bought a microwave, we bought towels, things like that, things for your bathroom. We didn't really spend too much. Now that I think about it, we were really lucky to have people who were willing to give things to us so that we could have an easier start. Also, if you are going to be, like, I don't want to leave anyone out, so if you are going to be furnishing your own place, what I did whenever we moved into the apartment that we are now, before we moved in here, before we like bought anything, like months before, I started Googling like how much couches were and how much like a bedroom set would be and how much like anything that you might need, so that you have like a price range in mind. For example, like know what kind of couch you're gonna want, and then Google that and figure out how much it's gonna cost you, to see if you're gonna have to like lease it out, or to know how much money you're going to have to save up for it. Kind of just, I'm like that with everything. Like, I like to have the whole month of bills and even months ahead already planned out in a calendar, so I know how much we're going to have to spend, so I know how much we're going to have to spend on ourselves, you know? Like, if you have an idea of how much you're going to need to like spend on utilities, you kind of know where you stand as far as how much you can spend on your own and other things that you might want. Moving on to the next thing that's also important is finding like, what did I call this? Searching for the place where you're going to be staying with time. In our area, a lot of the apartments have like a 2 to 3 month waiting list. Yeah, like months ahead of time, where you need to pay a deposit so they can put your name on a list, so that when an apartment becomes available in hopefully 2 or 3 months, they'll call you. One thing that I also saw someone mention or question about is how like you'll get approved to move into an apartment. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like an expert, nor do I work in that kind of field. But from our experience, you basically only need to prove that you're going to be able to pay for the place. So like they made us get, what are they called? Pay stubs from my work and Jesus's work for the last couple of weeks or months, however like long they're willing to take, just to show that we are currently making the amount of money necessary to pay for the place. As far as credit and everything like that, if you're young, they'll understand that you don't have credit because you're young and you're just starting out. They will like look at your background if you have any felonies, which hopefully you don't. I think you'll be good to go. Basically, literally, seriously, the only thing that they'll make sure or they'll look at is your income and that you'll be able to pay for the place. Now we're going to move on to some questions that I think you would be interested to know. I don't know. I like to know these questions about other people when I watch these videos. First question, how/why did we decide to move out? So Jesus and I decided to move out because we were both going to be going to college in the town that's next to where we live now. And my job was over there, his job was closer over there. So we figured like, let's just move over there, you know? You'll actually find out really soon. We're going to be making a video on some really exciting news, but that also had a lot to do with the reason why we moved out. But those two reasons, the fact that we were both moving over there and the announcement that we're gonna make whenever it happens. I'm not pregnant, by the way. I don't have a kid. Nor am I expecting one either, oh my gosh. Also, just to kind of add on to that, that sounded very dry, but ever since Jesus and I met back when I was 15 and he was 16, we basically were like inseparable. Like, you can ask our family, and to them it was probably pretty annoying, but our relationship was very natural. Like, we like to spend time together all the time. Like, we never got bored of each other. The other day, my sister, I remember we were talking about how Jesus and I spend all of our time together whenever we're free. And my sister was like, I don't know if I could do that. And I was like, and I explained to her that once you're like in a relationship and you both enjoy spending time with each other, it's not so much like your boyfriend, girlfriend, like nagging at each other or like, I love you, anything like that. It's kind of like your best friends. And I mean, you like to hang out with your best friend, right? So that's kind of how it is. Was it hard to be away from your family whenever you first moved out? I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm sorry, sister Whaley, Karina, if you're watching this, but no, it was not. I think our relationship as like with my parents and with my sisters and my brother and everyone else, like I think the relationship that we had as a family was better when I moved out because I didn't have that tension with my parents about me getting home late at night. I didn't have that tension with my sisters about her taking my clothes if I didn't let her borrow, anything like that. Like, it's very, like, any decision that I make on my own. And I don't know, like, I feel like it was better that I missed hanging out with them, yes, especially because I lived kind of far away from where they lived now, or whenever I lived in Bentonville, I lived like 30 minutes away from where my parents lived. But I would come visit them. It's not like they were gone, like I could always see them. So like I missed hanging out with them, but I still hung out with them. Does that make sense? Now, how was it with each other whenever we first moved in? Well, I can't talk for Jesus, but I can talk for myself that I didn't really feel any like changes. I don't know if it's because we spent so much time together when we were dating, but the only thing really that changed was that we were like going to sleep together and we were waking up together, and that felt very normal too. Like, thankfully Jesus, my relationship with Jesus has always just come very naturally. And it wasn't like hard or anything at all to move in with him. It all just kind of, it was perfect. It was great. And now for the last question that I'm going to be answering in this video. What is the hardest part about moving in together with your boyfriend? In my point of view, of course, right? The hardest thing about moving in together, like relationship-wise, I think for me, or in my point of view, was getting to know like when to leave him alone. Because whenever you're dating and you're like not living together, like you get in an argument or anything like that and you just leave, or like the other person, or no, the thing is that whenever you're dating and you're not living together, usually when you're hanging out, you're both in a really good mood because you're getting to see each other and it's like you're spending time together, so it's cool, like you're in a good mood. But when you're living together and you're always together, you're not going to be in a good mood all the time. Like, whenever you're with your family and you like go out and it's like really hot outside and you're just annoyed at everyone and you're hangry, like that's not gonna be with your family anymore. That's gonna be with the person that you're living with. For example, I get hangry and I get annoyed and I get like, especially right now that it's so hot, like you just get in a bad mood. But I can't just talk to him like I'm talking to like my sisters, you know? Things like that. And also like vice versa, like if they're in a bad mood, I'm a jokester, I would say. I always am joking with him, like I always am very sarcastic. That's just the kind of person that I am. But I have to learn, or I've had to learn, that whenever he's in a bad mood, like I can't do that because he's just gonna get in a worse mood It's hard, believe me, it's really hard. Whenever you're dating and you're not living together, everything is usually good. But whenever you're living together, the good and the bad is still together and you're always there. So just learning how to live with those bad moments, I think is the best thing. And after a year of living together, I think Jesus and I, especially Jesus, he's so kind. He's such a like nice person, because I am very, I'm prideful, but I'm also like, I don't care, like my personality is just like that, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to fix it. But he has learned to kind of like approach me when I'm in a bad mood, and I really thank him for that, because we're really good now. Whenever we get into like any kind of argument or like beef or anything like that, we are able to figure it out, because we just kind of put our guard down and we admit to each other that we're both hangry, and that's why we went off on each other. That's our biggest argument, right? Like, though, just kind of like we're both in a bad mood and we like keep like knacking at each other and like, and then at the end we're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I want a dog. All right, guys, but that's it for this video. If you guys have any more questions as far as us moving out at 18, not at 18, but just very young, straight out of high school, straight out of Compton, feel free to put it in the comments or to send either one of us a message on Instagram. I hope that you guys were able to take something away from this video, and if you're planning to move out soon, that this advice kind of helped you or guided you in some sort of way. Thank you so much. Again, just thank you so much for watching my videos. If you've watched the previous ones, if you haven't, go check them out if this is your first video on my channel. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed watching it, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Kudos to you. I will see you in the next video next week. I always hate ending my videos. I wonder if I'll ever...